All right, in the interest of time and to ensure that we get through our agenda for the forum, I might start and then let people join as and when they're ready. So firstly, welcome everybody to the first Sustainable Finance Forum. My name is Kylie Porter and I'm the Executive Director of the Global Compact Network Australia. The Global Compact Network Australia, or the GCNA, is the Australian local network of the UN Global Compact, and that's the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative. The GCNA is one of 3 organisations who have partnered to bring this forum to you, and I am very grateful for the contribution and dedication from our other partners, the ASX and the Australian Council for Superannuation Investors, who have stuck with us for the last 18 months since we were meant to hold this event face-to-face in about May last year, before COVID put most states in Australia into some form of lockdown. I'm thrilled that we've been able to now host this forum virtually, and I'm very thankful for all of you joining us, especially for those who are in the same boat as I am, juggling homeschooling, managing a household and work. Fingers crossed that the Melbourne lockdown ends this week. I hope that I speak for many fellow Victorians when I say that the COVID-19 restrictions have, in many sense, given us a sense of country and a sense of place. For Indigenous Australians, country has always meant something beyond a dictionary definition of the word. It means homeland, tribal, clan area, and a word that encapsulates all of the feelings that we have about space, its values, the places, the resources, the stories, and the cultural obligations associated with that area. And for Indigenous people, that includes all of their ancestral domains. I have certainly found a lot more of a connection to my tribe of friends who live within the Kulin Nation, and who acknowledge that the role that we must play in teaching our children about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, about their values, about their notion of country, and the long-term effects that colonialism had on their livelihoods, but also understanding the ways in which we can work more collaboratively to really remove those disparities between Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders and non-Indigenous Australians, who many of us joining today would be. So today, in the chat function, you would have seen that Nia from our team has already started posting a few things, and we ask that you all consider your connection to place. There's a link in the chat function to a map that enables you to locate the First Nation whose land you're joining from today. Please welcome your fellow attendees and let us all know which land you're joining from us today. For me, I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I come to you from, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. The Wurundjeri connection to this land dates back more than 40,000 years. It has always been and always will be their land. Now, to jump back into the forum, we have had incredible interest in this event, with over 850 registrations from a range of sectors and industries, including ones in the responsible investment space, which really demonstrates the level of interest that has increased in responsible investment and the growing concern that business has for implementing ESG into their strategies and their operations. We know that the pandemic and the associated economic crises have strengthened the case for responsible investment and demonstrated that ESG activities are actually fundamental to a successful business. In fact, according to the IMF, or the International Monetary Fund, to ensure a strong economic recovery from the pandemic, we need over $20 trillion in investment over the next 20 years to reduce the impact of climate change and progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. Responsible investments and management of ESG are expected in order to allow companies and investors to play on an even playing field and to create a more important role for social responsibility and a sustainable economy. Increasingly, investors are viewing these as important factors in managing their investors. And we'll hear a lot about this over the next 2.5 days. Before I hand over to Helen Lofthouse, there are a couple of housekeeping items that I'd like to draw your attention to. Firstly, we encourage you to tweet and post about the event using the hashtag SFF2021. Please do this on LinkedIn or on Twitter or whichever means that you use. You can use the chat function that you will have seen popping up to comment on content, access posts listed from the content that you'll hear from today, and also use the Q&A function to post your questions to the speakers. If you need technical support, please contact the GCNA support person whose number is on the screen. Now, it is with pleasure that I introduce Helen Lofthouse. Helen is the Executive General Manager of Derivatives and OTC Markets at the ASX. Helen is responsible for the largest business unit within the ASX, and prior to joining the ASX in 2015, spent time in London working for major financial institutions, including UBS and JP Morgan. Helen, thank you from us for ASX's support for this event, and I'll hand over to you.